Starting with only 40 students, LBLIA now serves 60,000 students per quarter on average, at more than 60 branches spread throughout Indonesia. Our learning features include fun learning, where we make sure that our students study in a relaxed and fun atmosphere. Learning how to learn, where we help our students to become independent learners. And learning more than just English, where we broaden the students' horizons through integrated learning. Our general English course aims at developing the participants' 4 language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Designed for different age groups, each program provides learners with practical communication skills in a variety of everyday situations that will give them a solid base of English to progress from. Designed to meet the specific needs of the learners, our English for Specific Purposes, or ESP programs, cover a wide range of disciplines, from English for academic purposes to English for occupational purposes. Our Business Conversation program helps you get familiar with business-related vocabulary and expressions that will enable you to speak confidently in various business situations. And our Test Preparation programs cover a broad range of test-taking strategies that will help you deal with high-stake tests like the TOEFL, TOEIC, or IELTS with ease. LIA EPT, BET, and ACE tests are designed to measure the English language proficiency of people who want to study or work abroad or in environments where English is used as a medium of communication. In addition to English training programs and proficiency tests, Lembaga Bahasa LIA also offers translating, interpreting, editing, and transcribing services, provided by a powerful team of experienced and authorized translators, interpreters, and proofreaders with a solid professional background. Aside from English, Lembaga Bahasa LIA also has Mandarin, Korean, and Bahasa Indonesia for Foreigners programs that cover real-life topics and everyday language and are taught in a communicative approach that will help students learn more effectively and use the language confidently. Our teaching methodology includes project-based learning and CLIL, or Content and Language Integrated Learning, to enhance the 21st century learning skills that every student needs to master to be able to succeed in their education and future career. To foster our teachers' teaching quality, we execute professional teacher development programs through a nurturing
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Oke,
Halo,
good
afternoon. Welcome to
LIA Ramadan
Ramadan
Storytelling
Competition. Yeah,
Let your kindness shine.
Well, it's nice to be here again. It is the second of the competition after we have it in the morning. Well, first of all, before we start, let us introduce ourselves as our MC today. So my name is Mr. Tatang, usually called Mr. T, and here my partner.
Hi, I'm Pika.
Hello, Miss Pika.
Hello.
So today we are going to lead this program until the end of the program. Miss Pika, is it right?
Yes, sir. Bagaimana perasaannya adik-adik kecil?
Ya.
Ngantuk?
Oke.
Okay,
hopefully that
you cannot wait for the competition, right?
Fine, yeah. Oh yeah, Miss Pika, today we also have a very special guest from the BOD. Welcome.
Betul sekali.
A very warm welcome to Mr. Amor Idri Pawoko. Ya, Pak Amor, welcome
Pawoko selaku kepala LBLIA.
Welcome to the program today.
Thank you. Hi everybody.
Okay.
Miss Pika, so without further ado, maybe you can also just try to read the rundown for today apa rundownnya hari ini, Miss Pika?
Nah, kita akan ada pembukaan. Tadi sudah kita buka dari kita sendiri. Nanti ada Indonesia Raya, kemudian nanti ada sambutan dari Bapak Amur, and then baru final, and then quiz. Setelah itu baru announcement the winners.
Dan for your information, karena they are category today, Miss Pika, is it right?
Yeah.
So nanti ada announcement juga untuk pembagian tempat, di mana nanti ada kelompok Gale sama kelompok Gea ya. Is that right? Untuk kelompok Gale nanti akan tetap berada di sini ya, di main room.
Di main room.
Oke, dan nanti untuk
yang
kelompok
besar.
Gea,
Yang remaja
besar,
ada
remaja ada
di
di breakout room. Nanti siap-siap untuk pindah ke breakout room ya.
Oke.
Selanjutnya nanti kita juga akan perkenalkan dewan juri ya. Ada 6 ya hari ini. Wow ya. Juri-juri yang mumpuni ya. Yang mumpuni ya Miss Tika ya.
Mumpuni sekali pokoknya.
Oke.
Iya.
Ya, tentunya juri-juri itu sudah makan asam garam ya dari
Malang
penjurian.
melintang.
Malang
Ya.
melintang. Oke, di dunia penjurian.
Setelah berdiskusi sana sini akhirnya terputuskan finalis kali ini ya kan.
Ya, dari beberapa ratus ya kali, puluhan dan ratusan bahkan.
Ya, puluhan kurang lebih, Pak.
Ya, puluhan kurang lebih dan terpilih sekitar 10 atau 11 finalis untuk ini. Saya mengingatkan kepada para peserta untuk merename ya, merename nama kalian dengan nama dan nomor pesertanya tentunya ya. Oke. Jadi biar kita bisa tahu siapa peserta tersebut ya, urutannya dan sebagainya, sehingga nanti pada saatnya perform bisa kita spotlight dengan tepat. Oke. Dan jangan lupa on cam ya tentunya.
Pastikan juga internetnya lancar. Selamat datang juga nih untuk kepada dari LIA seluruh Indonesia nih kayaknya, Pak.
Iya,
dari Medan, dari
Cirebon. Pokoknya semua yang ada partisipan di sini ya, ada perwakilan finalisnya. Oke. Jadi sebelum dimulai acara, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim ya.
Ya, kita berdoa dulu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bersama-sama, semoga acaranya berjalan lancar. Hasilnya nanti sesuai dengan apa yang diharapkan. Baik, Mr. T.
Oke, kita langsung saja ke acara pertama. Kita menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya atau mendengarkan. Kami mohon untuk para peserta untuk mungkin duduk sikap aja ya.
Untuk
boleh
sikap
sing along. Ya, sikap sempurna boleh sing along atau boleh juga diam dan mendengarkan lagunya. Oke. Mari kita menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya bersama-sama.
Mohon ditunggu ya, Bapak Ibu. kasih.
Oke, untuk selanjutnya kita persilakan kepada Bapak Amur di Paboko untuk memberikan sambutannya dalam acara ini. Pak Amur, the stage is yours.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, participants of Lia Ramadan Storytelling Competition. GALE's, our beloved GALE's students and ET students, yeah, from around Indonesia. Bu Pika, what students comes from the farthest?
Ada dari Medan, Lampung, Pak.
Okay, from Medan, welcome to
Padang.
the Ramadan Storytelling Competition, Padang and also Lampung. Okay, participants, should I call you participants or apa nih? Adik-adik ya, semuanya.
Storytellers maybe, sir.
Storytellers. Adik-adik, what is it? Participants of Storytelling Competition. How are you today? I mean, how is life? Gimana puasanya? Masih terjaga? Insya Allah masih terjaga ya. Okay, if you are talking about storytelling, as you know that storytelling here has become our tradition for a long time. Yeah, as you know that parents in the past, especially, always told stories to their children before they going to bed. Pertanyaannya, my question is, do your parents now tell you stories before you go to bed? Gimana? Masih bercerita nggak? Apa namanya, orang tua, ayah, ibu, papa, mama itu bercerita, ya, mendongeng, katakanlah ya, mendongeng ketika hendak tidur, ya, when you want to go to bed. Yeah, do your parents tell stories?
No.
Bedtime stories.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. As you know, with the hustle and bustle of social media and what is that, the modern technology, storytelling tradition, our storytelling tradition here, what is that, has almost been forgotten by our parents. Let me tell you a little bit about my childhood here. My parents always told me stories, yeah, before I went to bed. Yeah, and some stories made me happy. Some stories made me laugh. Some stories made me cry too. Yeah, and I still remember, and I also tell story. Now still, I am telling stories to my children. Yeah, jadi mendongeng sudah menjadi kebiasaan. What is that? It has become habits in my family. Yeah, and now to maintain the tradition or to preserve the tradition of storytelling here, Lia here, what is that, is holding a Lia Ramadan competition, storytelling competition here. Ya, jadi semangat untuk apa namanya, mendongeng, ya, to tell your stories, because in the what is that, stories that you're going to tell, I'm sure that it gives or it teaches moral values. Yeah, it teaches virtues. Yeah, it also gives some things importance. It teaches us something important in our life. Yeah, it shapes our what is that? It shapes our characters. Yeah, to become good people in the society. I think that's for me. It's from. I mean, that's all from me, and I think I would like to say enjoy the competition. I'd like to quote, a creed from, the Olympic Games. The most important here is not to win the competition, but the most important thing here is to take part in the competition. Ya, so jadi jangan sedih nanti kalau tidak menang. Yang paling penting adalah taking part, ya, to participate, berperan serta dalam acara ini. Semoga acara ini berjalan lancar. Hopefully that you enjoy and break a leg. Yeah, so enjoy again the competitions. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oke Pak Tatang, jadi betul kata Pak Amur. Pak Tatang, apa tadi Pak Tatang?
Iya betul ya. So the ultimate goal itu kan seperti kita tahu it's not about the winning ya, it's about winningnya, tapi being part of it ya, partisipasinya. Oke.
Jadi jangan
begitu
khawatir
ya.
kalau sekarang masih semangat kompetisi nih ya, tapi nanti kalau ada pengumuman nggak juara, it's
Iya.
okay ya,
Saya
karena
udah jadi
kalian udah hebat.
ikutan gitu kan, udah ikutan acara ini.
Udah
gitu,
menjadi
sesuatu
finalis itu
sekali.
udah luar
Udah menjadi
biasa
finalis
ya.
udah something banget ya, because you are best of the best lah ya, best dari peserta sebelumnya, dan di sini kita akan cari best of the best.
Terus
Kan
ayah
best of
bunda
the
juga
world.
jangan lupa, berarti bacakan cerita tuh ternyata ada pentingnya juga ya, ada gunanya. Coba Mister T bacain cerita nggak nih ke anaknya kalau mau bobo?
Oh, kalau dulu suka, sekarang kan udah gede, masa ceritain lagi, paling
Sekarang
curhat
TikTok
sekarang.
ya, nggak baca cerita ya.
Gak maksudnya sih, biasanya TikTokan aja. Enggak
Oke.
sih, ya tapi masih bagus kok telling bedtime story sih, relevan
Karena
kok
tadi
dengan
seperti
keadaan
yang
sekarang
Pak
ya.
Amur sampaikan, selalu ada terselip makna dalam cerita ya Pak ya, supaya kita menjadi orang yang lebih baik. Gitu.
Sekali lagi Pak
Oke.
Amur atas
Terima kasih Pak
motivasi
Amur.
dan enlightenment-nya ya. Oke, so Miss Pika, hari ini kita berarti akan lumayan hektik ya, karena akan ada 2 kategori ya.
Betul.
Ada
6 juri hari ini,
Ada 6
kalau
juri
tadi pagi
juga
3.
bahkan ya. Wow, sesuatu sekali ya. Oke, tapi mungkin
Iya.
bisa diumumkan kembali barangkali itunya ya, Miss Pika.
Oke, saya sebut jurinya dulu kali ya.
Jurinya dulu kali ya.
Oke. Jurinya untuk program SD atau GEL itu ada Miss Ade Ari Simatupang.
Halo Miss Ade.
Halo teman-teman.
Welcome back Miss Ade. Nice to see
Lalu
you again,
ada
Miss Ade.
Ibu Via.
Halo
Ibu
Bu
Via
Via.
Mirtasari.
Halo Ibu
Halo Ibu Via.
Can you hear my voice?
Ya,
I can hear it.
Oke.
Halo Miss Via.
Lalu ada Ibu Winda. Ibu Winda Hapsari. Halo Ibu Winda.
Halo everyone.
Halo
Ya,
Miss Winda.
baik, dari 3 juri ini nanti akan menilai sekitar 11 peserta finalis. Ada Sanum dari Pangadegan, ada Amira Naila dari Lia Malang, ada Arai Arya dari Lia Jogja, ada Farahnas Azima dari Lia Bandung, ada Humaira Alessa dari Lia Cirebon, ada Abian Ahlen dari Lia Padang, ada Nasnin Syafa Malika dari Lia Cilegon, ada Alika Faranindya dari Lia Harapan Indah, ada Amira Laika dari Bogor Jalan Baru, kemudian ada John Tobias dari Surakarta, dan terakhir ada Anissa Kusuma Wardani dari Lia Pramuka. Sudah siap juri ya?
Dari Kelapa Gading nggak masuk ya, Miss Pika? Dari Kelapa Gading nggak masuk? Dari Kelapa Gading nggak masuk?
Mohon maaf, pengirim tidak ya Pak?
Nah kalau begitu, selanjutnya Miss Pika, juri untuk
juri untuk remaja.
Remaja maksudnya. Siapakah juri untuk remaja kali ini?
Juri untuk remaja ada Ibu Pranawangsi. Halo Ibu Wawa.
Bu Wawa ya kita kenal. Halo Bu Wawa.
Halo Pak, sehat
nice.
Pak.
Alhamdulillah, it's nice here with us ya Mbak Wawa. Oke.
Kemudian ada Ibu Widya Tiningsih.
Welcome back Bu.
Halo Pak.
Halo Bu. So you've been here since this morning ya Bu ya?
Yes.
Still tough ya Bu ya? Ibu?
Sure.
Sure.
Oke,
Oke.
Ake sih
Yang
udah
terakhir
surprise
ada
kok, Bu.
Ibu Togi Rejeki Sirait.
Alah, ini
Halo.
dia, the one and
Hi
only ya.
everyone.
Aduh, Miss
Nice to
Togi.
meet you.
Senyumnya itu tuh nggak kuat,
Oke.
Mas Togi. Aduh, ya nanti
Nanti
mereka itu
juri-juri
akan
ini akan menilai
menilai
sekitar
siapa
10
saja. 10
peserta.
peserta ya. Yang pertama
Iya,
ada
ada
Mutihan
Mutihan
Hakinanti ya,
Hakinanti dari
dari
Lia
Jogja.
Jogja.
Lanjutnya ada Laudiana Viera dari Cibubur. Ada Devina Indonesia dari Lia Cirebon. Kemudian ada Anissa Nabi Lusmana dari Lia Lampung. Lalu ada Nadine Ila Mumtaz dari Cilegon. Ada Arifah dari Medan. Alicia Kamilah N dari Harapan Indah. Ada Laila dari Bogor Jalan Baru. Lalu ada Ruci Nur ya dari Surakarta. Putri Rum Syafira dari Medan. Dan ada Muhammad Halid Akbar dari Pramuka ya. Again dari Gading nggak masuk.
Tidak ada lagi ya namanya.
Tidak
ya,
ada lagi namanya di Kota Gading. Aduh, ini sesuatu sekali.
Baik, kalau begitu kita memberikan waktu kepada tim teknis langsung saja mungkin untuk membagi ke dalam room. Okay, judges ready?
Ready.
Ready.
We are ready, Miss Tika.
Oke, karena ini bagus-bagus, kita bismillah dulu ya teman-teman. Mudah-mudahan diberikan yang terbaik. Jangan nervous, oke ya. Oke, peserta pertama, Mutihan Hakinanti dari Lia Jogja. Hai Mutiha.
Hi, good afternoon, judges and MC and the other participants.
Okay, are you ready?
Hi, Mutihan.
Afternoon.
I hope so.
Okay,
Good luck.
welcome. Silakan.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mutian Hayani Kinanti, and I'm from Lia, Yogyakarta. I would like to tell you a story about the clever boy and the terrible, dangerous man. Once upon a time, there was a very clever boy who lived in a village. Nearby was a village he decided to visit. Just outside that village, he came upon a crowd of people who were standing still. As he drew near, he heard them saying, "Ooh," and "Oh," and "Oh." And he saw they looked quite frightened. So he went up to one of the men and said, "Why are you all so frightened? And why are you all saying, 'Ooh,' and 'ah,' and 'oh'?" "Oh, dear me," said the man. "There is a terrible, dangerous animal in this field, and we are all so frightened because it might attack us." "Where is the dangerous, terrible animal?" asked the boy. "Oh, be careful, be careful," cried the people. But the boy asked again, "Where is the terrible, dangerous animal?" So the people pointed to the middle of the field. And when the boy looked where they pointed, he saw a very large, watermelon. That's not a terrible, dangerous animal, laughed the boy. Yes, it is. It is, cried the people. Keep away, it might bite you. And the boy saw that these people were silly indeed. So he said to them, I'll go and kill this dangerous animal. No, no, cried the people. It's too dangerous. It's too terrible. Keep away. It will bite you. Oh, ah, oh. But the boy went right up the middle of the field, took a knife out of his pocket, and cut a large slice out of it. The people were asked, What a brave boy, said them. He killed the terrible, dangerous animal. As they spoke, the boy took a bite of the large slice of watermelon. It tasted delicious. Look, cried the people again. Now he's eating the terrible, dangerous animal. He must be a terrible, dangerous boy. As the boy walked from the middle of the field, wearing his knife and eating the large slice of watermelon, the people ran away, saying, Don't attack us, you terrible, dangerous boy. Keep away. And then the boy loved. He loved and loved and loved. So the people wondered why he was loving. So they crept back. What are you laughing at? They asked timidly. You're such a silly lots of people. You don't know that what you call a terrible, dangerous animal is just a watermelon. Watermelons are very nice to eat. We've got lots of them in our village, and everyone eats them. So the people became interested, and someone said, Well, how do we cut watermelon? You take out the seeds of the watermelon and you plant them like this, he said, putting a few of the seeds in the ground. Then you give them water and look after them. After a while, lots and lots of watermelon will grow. And the people did what the boy said. And now, in all of the fields of that village, lots of watermelons grow. They sell some, they eat some, and they give some away. And that's why the village is now called as Watermelon Village. And it all happened because the clever boy wasn't afraid when a lot of silly people thought something was dangerous just because they had never seen it before. Thank you.
Oke, dan Mutihan sudah selesai ya. Good, story-nya really bagus sekali. Bagaimana judges? Pertanyaan silakan judges.
Okay. May I ask one question?
Silakan Miss Wawa.
How should I call you, Kiranti?
Just call me Kinan, please.
Kinan, okay. So, Kinan, what is the moral of your story?
I think that we have to not be afraid, even though something dangerous or struggle is come to face. We have to face something in front of us. I think we shouldn't be afraid of something that we have to.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it, Miss
Okay,
Tika.
thank you. Okay, for the next participant, Laudia Nafira from Lia Cibubur. Are you ready, Laudia?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Laudia Navera from Lia Cibubur. Today, I want to tell you the story about Prophet Ibrahim. Here's the story. Once upon a time, there was a prophet named Ibrahim who lived in the land of Babylon. He was born into a family of idol worshippers to question his family belief until his own son. He interpreted it is a sign from Allah and decides to renounce his family belief and become a follower of God. He started preaching about the oneness of God. However, his message was met with opposition and he was criticized by his own family and the people of his community. Despite this, Ibrahim never gave up on his belief and continued to preach about the oneness of God. One day, Ibrahim was ordered by Allah to leave his homeland and travel to another land. He, along with his wife Sarah and nephew Lut, went to an unknown place. Along the way, they faced many challenges, but through his unwavering faith in Allah, Ibrahim overcame them all. Upon reaching the land of Canaan, Ibrahim was blessed with a son named Ismail from his wife Hajar. Later, Allah tests Ibrahim's faith by asking him to sacrifice his son, Ismail. Ibrahim was conflicted but knew that it was Allah's will. So he took his son to Mount Arabat and prepared to sacrifice him. As he was about to sacrifice his son, Allah sent down a ram as a replacement, sparing Ismail's life. After this test, Allah bestowed many blessings upon Ibrahim and his family, and he became known as the father of prophets. His legacy of faith and devotion to Allah continue to inspire and guide people to this day. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, please judges for the question.
Okay, Laudia?
Yeah.
Can you hear my voice?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. Laudia, why did you choose that particular story?
Because Ibrahim's story was interesting.
Interesting. Okay, you said that he faced many challenges, right? What was the hardest challenges that he faced at that time?
When the people doesn't hear his what it said to believe of Allah.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all from me, Laudia. Thank you. Miss Pika, go back to you
Okay,
again.
thank you, Miss Wiki. Okay, for the next finalist, nomor 13, Devina Hairunisa dari Lia Cirebon. Hi, Devina.
Hi, Miss.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, bismillah ya. Okay, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The honorable judges and MC, let me introduce myself. My name is Devina Harmisa Srega from Lia, Cirebon. In this time, I will tell a story about Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail. Do you want to hear the story? I can hear you. Let me read it again. Do you want to hear the story?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
I'll tell you. Ibrahim had a son named Ismail. God of son, so that his wife would confess their child. But one night, Ibrahim had a bad dream. And Allah told him to sacrifice Ismail. At first, so it's either like necessary one thing. The next time, Ibrahim had the same horrible dream. And then Allah only asked me to do such a thing if it had good reason. So he loved his son early. He prepared to do these difficult things for Allah. Then Ibrahim told Ismail, Ismail, I want to tell you something. Yes, Father, what is it? Last night I dreamed that Allah gave me an arrow how to sacrifice you. If the arrow can fall, Allah, I have done something. Alhamdulillah, you are a good boy. Let's go to mourn Arab. Both of them went to mourn Arab. Ibrahim took a knife and a rope with him. Before that ritual, they need cycle. Where are you going? Away. Away. After a little, the cycle disappeared. Then they continued walking. And they went another different cycle. And the Soviet kill his mother, it's your son. Ismail must continue our journey to both Arab. Ibrahim and Ismail continue walking. Then the cycle, a beautiful cycle, appeared. Please, Ibrahim said, go away, don't disturb us. Then they continue the journey. And now they arrive at Mount Arab. Ismail told his father, told his son that he is ready. And told to tie his hands and legs and blindfold himself, so he will not struggle and make his father even more upset than he was going to be. Ibrahim did as Ismail said. Then he took a knife and did what Allah wanted him to do. When he took a blindfold from his head, he looked down, not at his son, but a different. His father was at his side. Ibrahim was surprised. Then he heard a voice to tell him not to worry. It's our his followers. Ibrahim and Ismail had passed the difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, now each year during the month of Zulhijjah, for all over the world travel to Mecca. They want to remember with Ibrahim and Ismail. This is sacrifice. This has all commanded Ibrahim to do. The Muslim sacrifice animal in memory of the deed. And that is what we know as a adha. From the story, we can see how great the sacrifice Ibrahim made. His sincere love for Allah made him something meaningful. Because of Ibrahim fighting until now, he can sacrifice life. All his children will love. They also think that Allah's love for his people is so great and just. That's all for me. Thank you for your attention and for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Devina, please catch your breath. Kayaknya ngos-ngosan banget loh. Biasa loh Devina loh usahanya. Okay, just the question.
Okay. Hi, Devina.
Hi, Miss.
How are you feeling now?
I feel nervous.
Okay, okay. Okay, don't be nervous. I think your performance is awesome. I would like to know whether did you pick the story yourself or someone else has like suggested the story for you?
There is someone that helped me to
Ah,
make a story.
okay, okay. So what do you like the most of the story? I mean, like what is the most inspiring part of the story?
Oh, when Ibrahim and Ismail is agreed to sacrifice Ismail, like is for Allah. It's really, really awesome for me.
Okay, that's the most inspiring part, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think you can also like apply the same attitude in your life? I mean, just as Ibrahim and Ismail did.
I hope I can do it. I just like Ismail and Ibrahim do. It's really, really awesome.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all from me. Back to you, Miss Pika.
Okay, thank you, Miss Oji. Thank you, Devina.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, for the next finalist, ada Anissa Nabil Lesmana from Lia Lampung. Hai Anissa. Hello. Anissa Nabil, are you in? Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Anissa Nabil Lesmana. I'm here to tell you guys about a story about Nabi Muhammad. Nabi Muhammad SAW was born in a society of ignorance that worship idols. They are like to gamble, get drunk, oppress, lie, and demean women. Nabi Muhammad was known as a young man who was gentle, helpful, and always told the truth. So he was given the title Al-Amin, which means the trusted one. Nabi Muhammad SAW changing the belief of Quraysh Arab and their custom with Islamic teachings. And do you know, Nabi Muhammad SAW was the last prophet and messenger who brought Islamic teachings that were intended for all mankind in the world. When Nabi Muhammad was calling out alone and worshipping in the cave of Hira, the angel Jibril came to him to deliver the first revelation of Surah Al-Alaq, verses 1 to 5. So there are a little bit story about Nabi Muhammad that I can tell for you. Thank you.
Okay. Are you nervous, Anissa?
Yes, I'm really nervous.
Okay. Please, judges, for the
Okay.
question.
Can I ask a question, Aniza?
Yes,
Why
ma'am.
did you choose this story for you?
Because Nabi Muhammad is the last prophet and also he is the prophet of all Muslims. and I have always been amazed by his story of fighting for the religion of Islam.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very nice.
Okay, thank you Miss Wawa. Thank you Aniza. Okay, next finalist. You ready? Nadine Sakwila Mumtaz from Lia Cilegon.
Hello, Miss.
Hello Nadine. Oh my goodness. Okay, please do.
If I turn off the background, I'm just scared that my sharp movements are gonna be catched by the camera.
Okay, it's okay.
All right, hold on. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Revered judges, my name is Nadine Shakwila Mumtaz from Lia Cilegon. And on this fine afternoon, I have the honor of telling you a legend, but not just any legend, but the legend of Gunung Pinang. So the legend goes that once upon a time in Banten seashore, there lived an old widow and her son named Dampu Awang. They were very poor, but Dampu Awang always wanted to go to Malacca and wished to be a rich man so that he and his mother can live happily ever after. But his mother never allowed him to go until one day, Dampu, a voice called Dampu Awang's name. I feel worried with your condition now. You're just dreaming to be rich. So if you really want to go, it's okay, dear. Just please be careful. Oh my God, really, Mom? Thank you so much. So Dampu Awang went to Malacca, accompanied by a parrot named Si Ketut. Ever since then, every day before the sun rises, Dampu Awang would work hard cleaning all the docks on Teku Abu Matsya ship, a merchant from Malacca. As time went by, Dampu Awang was known as a very diligent worker, until one day, Teku Abu Matsya himself called him to talk together. Dampu, as we've known, you've worked for me for 5 years now. I'm very proud of you. You're a very hardworking and diligent person. Thank you, sir. And I would like you to marry my daughter, Siti Nur Hasana. Will you marry her? What? Sir, are you sure? I mean, thank you. I'm honored, but I'm just an ordinary ship crew. Do I really deserve her? Don't worry, son. I know the best for my daughter. So the years went by, and now Dampu Awang had left his village for 10 years. One day, news that a merchant from Malacca is coming to Banten arose. Dampu Awang's mother was very excited to hear that. Oh, I hope it is my son, Dampu Awang. Son, finally your dreams came true. Thank God, thank you so much. The next day, the ship was sighted entering the harbor. Inside, Dampu Awang felt very nervous because now he was about to meet his mother again. He didn't want anyone to know that his mother was just an ordinary peasant, because now he was a very rich merchant. Many people streamed to the harbor to see the merchant. He was very handsome, and on his shoulder sat a parrot that looked very strong and very healthy. Dampu Awang said, "Your mother is right here," called Dampu Awang's mother. Ew, what a poor, messy old woman. Is she really your mother, honey? Oh, God. No, obviously she is not my mother. Hey, you poor, dirty old woman. I have never had a mother like you. My mother was very rich and she had died a long time ago. Here, take my money mother was shocked and her heart was broken. After Dampu Awang and his wife left, she prayed to God. No! 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 Oh God, I beg you, if he is indeed not my son, then let him go. But if he is my son, then punish him! Punish him! For he has broken and he has shattered his mother's heart! Suddenly, the sky turned dark. Thunder and lightning appeared. Dampu Awang's ship drifted in the sea, and a miracle happened. Sikatut could talk. Confess to your mother, Dampu Awang! Confess to your mother! No! I told you she is not my mother! And then Twister came, and it threw Dampu Awang's ship far to the south until it capsizes. And according to legend, became a mountain. A mountain people nowadays call Gunung Pinang, which is located in Kramat Watu, Banten province. So the moral of the story is that you must always respect your parents, especially your mother, because they have taken care of you and nurtured you since you were a child, and you wouldn't be anything without them. Reviewer judges, I'm afraid that is all from me. Thank you for your attention. Farewell. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Nadine. Okay, judges. Ready for the question?
Okay, I would like to ask Nadine a question. Hi, Nadine.
Hello, Miss.
How are you? How are you feeling right now?
My throat hurts.
Okay, I would like to know, how long have you been storytelling, like doing this storytelling thing?
I mean, my first story, the first time I was asked to do storytelling was in the 4th grade.
Ah, and you are now in
8th grade.
eighth grade. Okay, so it's kind of your passion, yeah.
You can say that, yeah.
Okay. It was a very awesome performance. I really liked it. So the moral of the story is that you said that we must respect our parents, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And which part of the story that you think is the most inspiring to you?
The most inspiring part, I guess, Dampu Awang's mother, she has, for years, Dampu Awang has said to her, I want to go here, I want to find a job, I want to, make us rich. But the mother, even though knowing that maybe Dampu Awang would, be successful out there, she still wouldn't let him go in the beginning of the story, because she loves him and she would miss him so much. And then she sacrificed that belief and she finally lets him go. I think for a parent to let their children go is really, it can be really hurtful, even though I haven't experienced it, but
Okay. Thank you very much. I really like your performance. It really moved me. Thank you so much. Back to you, Miss Pika.
Okay, thank you, Miss Oji. Nadine, thank you. Okay, for the next finalist, Arifah from Lia Medan. Arifah, where are you?
Can you hear me?
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Can you hear me well from this angle?
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Please do.
Wait.
Clear.
Yes, you're clear.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Arifah Cahaya Gemilang from G6 Lia Medan. Today, I'm going to tell you about one of Prophet Muhammad's companions that is a veteran warrior of Battle of Badr. But actually, outside from the battle, he's a quite funny person. He is funny and silly. Yes, that one man named Nu'ayman bin Amr. He always made Prophet Muhammad's love and smile. So that's why I choose his story to tell you guys today. Check this out. Nu'ayman bin Amr, he is the one of the companions who is funny and silly. But among the companions, he is the one who likes to joke around. He always make Rasulullah smile and laugh, but not her either. He made Rasulullah got mad and annoyed because he often drank alcohol and get caught by Rasulullah several times. But still, Rasulullah forgave him and loved him. One day, when Nu'ayman was drinking, he got approached by some of the companions. He asked them, "What?" And one of them starts calling Nu'ayman with insult. "Nu'ayman, you're with Rasul every day, but your behavior reminds like this. Shame? You didn't deserve to be loved by Rasul." Rasulullah walked past by and immediately asked, "What happened?" And one of them started telling the story that Nu'ayman drank alcohol again. After hearing the story, Rasulullah called them back. "Don't you dare to do it. Even though he has a bad behavior, but he made me smile. He made me laugh. He still loved Allah and me. And there is no right to you guys to forbid him to love Allah and me." Rasulullah didn't justify drunkenness, but no one knows the content of human's heart except Allah. One day, Nu'ayman got very drunk and he felt hungry. Without dope, he intercepted a food seller. While waiting for the food, he entered the mosque yard and asked Rasulullah to eat together with him. Rasulullah stood and walked to Nu'ayman, who is already having food on his hand. And then they are eating together. After finished eating, Rasulullah wants to enter the mosque again, but Nu'ayman prevented Rasul. "Where are you going here, Rasul? Aren't you going to pay after eating?" With smile, Rasulullah asked him back, "Who's the one that is ordering the food?" Nu'ayman said, "Me, ya Rasul. But don't you think that the boss should pay for his worker? I mean, I'm not your worker, but please." Hearing that, Rasulullah reached into his pocket and gave some money to Nu'ayman with giggles. One day, Nu'ayman see a honey merchant, and the trade is not selling at all. Seeing that, Nu'ayman have a great idea. He approached the honey merchant and said, "Hey, I'm not selling anything at all. You want me to help you? I have a friend that loves honey so much. Let me help you so you can sell some of yours." The honey merchant felt so relieved. After a long day, he will go and sell some of his honey. And then, while they are walking into Rasulullah's house, when they are about to arrive, Rasulullah's house, Nu'ayman stopped and said, "Wait here. I'll take some of your honey and give it to my friends. You just need to wait here. He will get up and pay it." The honey merchant agreed, and then he waited. And then Nu'ayman started knocking the Rasulullah door. When Rasulullah opened it, Nu'ayman said, "Assalamualaikum, ya Rasul. Here, I bought you some present. It's honey. I know you love honey so much, so I bought some for you. But I can't stay here too long because I have something to take care of. Here, just take it." "Assalamualaikum, ya Rasul." Rasulullah was shocked and confused. And then Rasulullah just take the honey and say, "Waalaikumsalam, Nu'ayman. Thank you anyway." And Rasulullah back into his house while the honey merchant still waiting patiently. And then, after waiting too long, the honey merchant knocked Rasulullah's door. Rasulullah opened it and asked, "Is there something that I could help?" The honey merchant said, "Can you pay the money, please? The honey, please? I'm here waiting too long. Your friends tell me that you get out and pay what you want, so I knock your door. Hearing that, Rasulullah realized that he was kept praying by Ayman. But after that, he laughed and paid more than enough for the honey. The honey merchant feels so happy. Also, Rasulullah feels happy too. The good news is, from this story we can learn about being cheerful and happy is the most important things, because we need to share our happiness. Also, like the Nu'ayman, after Rasulullah passed away, he felt slowly and bored because he can't make Rasulullah laugh and smile again. So we can learn to be cheerful and make the people that we love smile, because of course they will live forever. So as long they are still alive, make them smile and happy. Rasulullah once said, those who can smile and can make other people smile are those who have no kind. So we need to be cheerful, share your happiness. Also, Sahih Wisdom number 2699 say, Allah always help you as long as you help other people. So if you can help other people by another way, you can help them by making them smile and happy. It's a simple thing, but not everyone can do that. I'm Arifah saying thank you and ciao. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Arifah. Okay, for the judges, question is ready.
Okay, Arifah.
Okay.
How do you feel after you finish presenting your story?
It feels amazing. At first I felt nervous, but now I feel amazing.
Okay, how long did it take you to prepare the performance?
Yes. Maybe
How long?
1 week.
1 week, okay. Now, from your point of view that you have just told us, what is the most important thing that people have to do? A little thing, but it gives a big impact.
I mean to make another people feel happiness and share happiness, because if you feel happy, you need to share it. Because when you keep it, when you're happy and you keep it, it will feel strange on your heart. So you need to share it.
Okay, so you make people happy and then you share your happiness.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to say? Yes. Okay, Arifah, I think that's all from me. Go back to you again, Miss Pika. Thank you, Arifah.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Widi. Thank you, Arifah. Okay, for the next finalist, Alicia Kamila dari Lia Harapan Indah.
Hello.
Okay, Alicia, ready?
Okay.
Okay, please do.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. My name is Alicia Kamilah Nikmah. I am from Lia Harapan Indah. For today, I am going to tell a story about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the blind Jewish beggar. Once upon a time, in the corners of the markets in Medina, lived the old Jewish beggar. He was blind. This blind Jewish beggar really dislikes the Prophet. Every time people came near him, he would cry out to them, "Oh, my brothers, don't come near Muhammad. He is a liar. He is a sorcerer. If you come near him, you will be influenced by him." This blind Jewish beggar is always accompanied by someone who always gives and feeds the beggar food. Because the beggar is blind, the beggar doesn't know the true identity of this person, but all he knows that this person is very kind-hearted and gentle. But unfortunately, one day, the person who used to feed him didn't came back. He didn't came back to give and feed this beggar food. One day, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, a friend of the Prophet,
gave this beggar food. This beggar thought that the person who was feeding him was the person who used to feed him. But when Abu Bakr feeds him, he realized something and shouted to Abu Bakr, "Who are you? You are not the person who used to feed me," said the beggar. Abu Bakr immediately replied, "I'm sorry. I am not the person who used to feed you. I can't be as patient and as gentle as he is. But please know that I am a close friend of the person who used to feed you." The beggar was really confused, and then he asked Abu Bakr, "Where has the person who used to feed me gone?" Abu Bakr replied, "He has now passed away. I just wanted to continue his deed." The beggar was really shocked. He was really sad with the news. Then he asked Abu Bakr one more time, Who was the person who has been feeding me all this time?" Abu Bakr finally replied, "He was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam." The beggar was really shocked. Tears fell on his cheeks. Then suddenly he said the Shahada in front of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. The beggar decided to move to Islam after all his insult and swearing were applied with love and care by Muhammad. Of course, we all can apply this story into our lives. To always be careful, to always be kind and care to the people around us, even though if they hurt us physically nor mentally. Because behind that, there will always be a ton of goodness that will continue to flow to us. Thank you for listening to my story. I'm Alicia Kamila Nikmah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alisa.
Nope.
Bu Wawa will give question.
Okay, I will ask you a question,
Okay.
Aisha. So, what has the story inspired you to do? I mean, how are you inspired by the story and how does it affect you in your daily life?
The story teaches me to always be kind to other people, even though sometimes they are mean to us, like they don't realize that they are being mean to us. But we always must be kind to them even though they hurt us.
Okay, that's a very good take on the story. Okay, good luck for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your story. Yes, back to you, Miss Pika.
Okay, thank you, Miss Wawa. Okay, number 19. Ada Ruci Nur from Lia Surakarta. Hi,
Yes.
Ruci.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh, finally. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, please do.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rusmir Sukono. I'm 12 years old from Lia Surakarta. And I'm going to talk on how to save money and use it for good deeds on Ramadan. And there's two ways, so let's first talk with the first. The first is food. Humans have three main necessities to live. The first is water. Our body is made up of 70% water. Second is air. To all of you watching this right now, we're breathing, right? That's how important air is. And three is food. We cannot grow without food. But sadly, lots and lots of the less fortunate ones cannot have the food they needed for them to grow, resulting in stunting and other growth problems. What can we do about that? Well, actually, there's still a lot of people that is more fortunate so that they can eat. But some of them, Not all, some of them cannot manage that. They buy too much food, resulting in food waste and others. Well, like this part is the part they eat. But this part, all of them is things they buy. This part will turn into the trash can. That is wasting, right? So what can we do about that? Fasting is one of them. By fasting, we can save ton of food. See, while we're eating regularly, we eat 3 times a day. First is on breakfast, second is on lunch, and third is on dinner. But when we are fasting, there's only suhoor and iftar. There's nothing else. We doesn't eat the lunch. We didn't eat lunch. Like that. So it saves a lot of money. Say per family, per times we eat, we save 50,000 rupiah per family. Okay. So per day, in a single day, it costs 150,000 rupiah. But by fasting, we cut that 50,000 rupiah from the lunch because we doesn't eat that lunch. So it results in only 100,000 rupiah cost per day. So we're saving 50,000 rupiah. Not that much, but calculate it. So multiply it for a month. How much can you get? 1.5 million rupiah. That amount of money. You can turn them into more foods, more cloth, more books, and others for the less fortunate one, so that they can learn, they have wearings, and they can eat better. But sadly, sometimes people cannot like fitting their savings because when they're trying to save the money from the lunch, they try to double the amount of dinner or breaking the fast, or also known as iftar. They think they haven't get satisfied from the lunch that they cut off, so they double the amount of food they eat on the iftar. That so they didn't save any money. That also, speaking of bad habits, that brings us to the second way, cloth. So lots of us have collateral relation that is not needed. When our neighbor buy a new cloth on Ramadan, we just like, oh, they buy a new cloth. I should buy them too. It looks good. And what can we do about that? We just wear it on Idul Fitri and then put it in our wardrobe and never use it again. That's wasted, right? The amount of cloth that you buy can be more than 700,000 rupiah. And we can turn them into more cloth, into more books, into more foods for the less fortunate one. And it's really thing that we only want, not the thing we only need. Because yeah, it's really just, it looks fancy. It's on the trend. So why don't we just buy it? It's pretty much like that. So please do what you and us need, not what. Because if you do what you want, or if we do what we want every single time, it won't end because that's just one thing. We only do what we need. And I have a quote from Nanny McPhee saying that when you need me, but do not want me, then I have to stay. When you want me, but no longer need me, then I have to go. That quote tells everything from the end to the start of my story. Thank you for listening this far. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ruchi. Okay, judges.
Okay, I'd like to ask you a question, Ruchi.
Yes?
Okay, how do you feel now? Relieved?
I'm still kind of stressed because, yeah, it's literally a competition. And if I didn't do my best, it's just like stressing me out like that.
Okay. Okay, so can I ask you, what inspires you to tell this story?
Well, what inspires me is that I've seen lots of people doing good deeds of like giving foods to the poor one, to the orphanage, and lots of that. And I also joined the competition, so I'm thinking of something that I can do. and it is this. And I've actually been doing that. The cloth one from the last year. I didn't buy a new cloth since last year on Ramadan. I mean, the cloth that I just wear at Idul Fitri. I just buy like a new cloth for everyday life. So that's saving money. I've done that, but for the food one, I just had the idea last month. So yeah, I haven't done anything.
Okay,
But
so you're basically sharing your story, yeah?
yes.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you, Miss Wawa.
Thank
Okay,
you.
next is Putri Rumsafira from Lia Medan. Hai Putri. Halo. Halo Putri.
Hello.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Please do.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Putri Rumsafira.
Putri, suaranya jauh ya? Nggak terdengar, tidak terdengar.
Bisa dinaikin lagi volumenya Putri? Oke, gimana Putri?
Can you hear me?
Halo?
Hello, can you hear me?
Kecil. Juri gimana? Udah mendengar?
Masih
Tidak terdengar
kecil.
suaranya.
I hear her voice.
Maaf Putri, suaranya tidak terdengar sayang.
Hello?
Udah volumenya udah Paul?
Atau pakai headset mungkin supaya terdengar.
Dulu ya. Putri siapin dulu volumenya ya.
Oke.
Putri disiapin dulu ya volumenya ya. Oke, kita next finalis ada Muhammad Khalid Akbar dari Lia Pramuka. Halo?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. Are you ready, Khalid?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, please do.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. Praise is done to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of him, you can get in good situation and in good condition. I witness that Prophet Muhammad is our messenger of God. Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Khalid Akbar and I'm from the Pramuka. Today I am going to tell you a story about a sadaqah or charity. But before that, I would like to tell you with a beautiful poem first. As you fast from dawn to dusk, may the light of faith, the warmth of love, the comfort of peace be with you and your loved ones. Ramadan Mubarak. Once upon a time, there was a man, and his name was Abu Hamza. He went to a mosque to pray Zuhr. After a long way to reach a mosque, he arrived. But then he saw a kid who held a jar, and inside of it was money. Please, sir, please, I need some help. Can you have money, please? Please, sir, help me. Abu Hamza was genuine and remember when the time when his mother told about giving a charity to the poor. And she said, remember, son, always give a charity to the poor. And so Abu Hamza walked towards to a kid and gave him money and some food that he bought yesterday. Abu Hamza said, here you go, kid. This is some food and money. I hope you eat it, okay? Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Really, thank you. I really appreciate it. And all of a sudden, the kid ran so fast. Abu Hamza was confused at first. Why did the kid just run off like that? And so he started to follow him and ran too. Oh God, this kid ran so fast. After 15 minutes, he found him. Oh, there he is. The kid went inside to his house, but the house looked really old. And so Abu Hamza was curious. He looked over to the window and saw him sitting on the bed. And next to him was someone. Or was it his mother? Mom, please wake me, wake. I have some food for you and some money. Please wake up, please. Abu Hamza was shocked, really shocked, and tears rolling down his eyes. This kid was the one who take care of his mother, both of them, in this old rusty house. And so he had no choice but to go inside. Abu Hamza started to talk to him and his mother about her sickness. But in the middle of conversation, the mother talked about her husband lately had been passed away last week. Abu Hamza was surprised and really sorry for her. And he said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. I'm really sorry for you, really sorry. And so Abu Hamza had an idea and told them to go to a doctor for her mother. And they agreed with Abu Hamza's idea. After 3 days later, Abu Hamza was worried, and so he went to the kid's house. And upon arriving, he saw the mother was healthier and better. She looked really better for the most part. And for the best part, she was really, really religious and read the Quran. Abu Hamza was really happy for her. And that is all for the story. And with that, there's actually a moral lesson. The moral lesson in the story is that we should be grateful and helping others, the poor, understanding their situation because they need something that is important. And that's all I can say. I hope all of you. Yeah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Ustadz Khalid.
Yeah.
Okay, judges, please
Thank you.
ready for the question.
Okay, Pak Ustadz Khalid.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you questions. Yeah. What did you say about the moral of the story? Can you say it again, please?
We should be grateful and helping others, helping the poor to understand their situation because the poor needs something that is important. Yeah, That's actually my moral lesson.
Okay. Now, what have you done to do that in your daily life?
I've done like, to help the poor because it's actually important because for someone who doesn't have money, their house like Rusty, right? So they need something that's important for their life, So to make it easy, we should be kind to others. So yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay. So, what do you do to help others?
To
You
like,
always give money?
yes, give some money and some food sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you, Khalid. Go back to you again, Miss Pika.
Okay, thank Miss Widi.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
the last finalist, Putri Rumsafira, are you ready?
Yes, ready, Miss.
Okay, it is clear, voice clear. Okay, please do.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Putri Rumsafira. I'm from G6 in Yemen. Today I want to tell you a story about a man who discovered to protect his people from oppression and tyranny. God called as a prophet. I'm sure all of us know him well. He is Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Once upon a time, in the ancient Egypt, there was a king called himself Pharaoh. He was a ruthless and terrible king. His time began with a dream that disturbed him. The dream repeated every night. In that dream, he saw fire come from the Baitul Maqdis. After that, the fire destroyed all of Egyptians except people of Israel. Because of that, Pharaoh called the magician, and then he told about his dream. The magician said, "Your Majesty, your society seems to rebel. People of Israel has become a threat for Egypt. A boy will be born from among them. The boy will destroy all of Egypt." Hear about it. Pharaoh said, "Kill all the male babies in Egypt." The guards and soldiers immediately followed the order. Every house investigated. Every pregnant was checked. Every bird was sacrificed. In one of Bani Israel's house, a boy was born. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the baby's parent to wash away their baby in the Nile River using a friend. Meanwhile, in Pharaoh's palace, Asia the empress suddenly saw the crack of the Nile River, and then she ordered her maid to take the crack. She fell in love when she saw the crack contents and brought the baby to Pharaoh. Pharaoh gasped, and then he showed, "Did I have ordered to kill all the babies in Egypt? Why did you bring one of them in front of me? Kill it!" Asia persuaded Pharaoh, "This baby might have one also for you, really. Don't kill the baby, please. He will be useful for us. Let's take him to be our son." Because Pharaoh loved her so much, finally he agreed to adopt the baby to be their child. They agreed to name the baby with the name Musa. The young Musa was constantly nurtured, educated, and brought up like a child of a king. Naturally, he knew that Pharaoh wasn't a god, and he also knew that he was descendant from the people of Israel, not Pharaoh's son. One day, Musa intervened in the fight between two people. There are people of Kipti and people of Israel. Accidentally, Musa killed one of the Kipti who was Pharaoh's people. Because of that, Musa left the Pharaoh's place. On the way, Musa prayed to Allah until he got direction to go to Madian. He found his wife in there. Musa was appointed as a prophet after talking directly with Allah in the Tur Sina mountain place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the Prophet Musa alayhi salam to meet Pharaoh, and Allah gave him the miracles. Prophet Musa preached back to his country to meet Pharaoh and asked him to repent. But Pharaoh still refused and still considered himself as a god. And he said, "Hi Musa, if it's true about your God, bring signs and real evidence. Prove the truth of your words if you are not lying."
Prophet Musa showed the two miracles that he received from Allah. He threw his stick. The stick suddenly changed into a big snake. And then Prophet Musa took his hand out of his shirt. The hand became white and shiny to people who see it. When saw it all, Fir'aun was still arrogant, and with his followers, they agreed to gather the magicians all over the land. Many magicians threw their stick and rope. The sticks and rope changed into a wild snake. Prophet Musa threw his stick. The stick suddenly changed into a bigger snake that ate all the snakes made by magicians. Everyone in there was shocked. They didn't expect the snakes of Prophet Musa devour all the magic snakes. Pharaoh's magicians suddenly fell down, prostrated to Prophet Musa. And they say they believe the God of all the world, namely the God of Prophet Musa. Because Pharaoh's bad attitude and concern for the people of Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down a long drought, fierce flames, and fresh blood. Pharaoh and his followers begged Prophet Musa to pray to Allah relieve the punishment given to them. The punishment was gone by the will of Allah. But Pharaoh and his followers returned hostile to Prophet Musa and tortured the people of Israel. Because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Prophet Musa to leave Egypt. Prophet Musa and people of Israel made an exodus from Egypt to Palestine. They started to realize Pharaoh and his followers chased them. Prophet Musa received an order from Allah to strike his stick into the Red Sea. Immediately, the Red Sea split and they came crossing. When Prophet Musa and people of Israel arrived at the cross of the ocean, Pharaoh and his followers still in the middle of the Red Sea. Suddenly, the water covered that had been opened. Pharaoh and his soldiers drowned into the Red Sea. We can see the body of Pharaoh until now. As arrogant as human being, a creation of Allah, who will surely die. Okay, that's all the story. Thank you so much for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Putri. Silahkan para juri, ada pertanyaan?
Okay, hi Putri.
Hi.
Okay, how are you feeling, dear?
Nervous.
Don't be. You're awesome. Okay, so are you a big fan of Prophet Musa?
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell us some of the most inspiring character traits of the prophet?
The courage to fight against the oppression, and we cannot to be arrogant, even though we have power and richness, just like Pharaoh.
Okay. So do you think that one of those positive characters can be applied in your own daily life?
The courage.
The courage. Okay. Can you tell us a few examples of the most courageous things that you have done so far?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, you told us that what you admire the most of the Prophet Musa is his courage, right? So probably you can share with us some of the most courageous things that you've done so far, probably one or two examples.
We must brave to fight.
Probably you have you ever been in a situation where you need to defend someone else?
No.
Okay, that's okay. I think that's all from me, Miss Pika. Back to you. Thank you
Miss
very
Togi,
much.
sepertinya Putri
Awesome.
masih nervous ya, masih ke bawah tadi ya.
It's okay.
Lihat muka Miss Togi yang
Okay,
glowing
Putri.
jadi
You're
ini juga
awesome. Don't
grogi.
worry.
Oke.
Okay.
Ternyata masih ada satu peserta yang belum dipanggil. Ada Laila dari Bogor Jalan Baru. Halo Laila.
Hi.
Okay, are you ready, Laila?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, please do.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Laila Nuriska. I am from Ria Jalan Baru Bogor. I would like to tell you about my story. The title is Prophet Zakaria. Prophet Zakaria was on Israel. The Prophet Zakaria was born in 91 before century. The Prophet Zakaria was appointed by Allah at the age of 90 years old. He was on the descendants of Prophet Sulaiman alaihi salam. We also know him as the father of Prophet Yahya alaihi salam. He had a wife and her name was Al-Yasbi. We can find his story in Al-Quran in Surah Maryam where Allah narrates detail about him and his family. But in Al-Quran does not provide accounts of the prophet's childhood or youth. Hence, the story of this prophet began when he was 90 years old. He worked as a carpenter and he led a simple life like most of the other prophets. He was very humble in his behavior. It was all my story. I hope that what has been said can increase our knowledge the greatness of the prophets. Thank you.
Oke, thank you Laila. Halo. Oke, silakan judges.
Okay, Laila. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you take out from the story of Nabi Zakaria, Prophet Zakaria? So what characteristics can you apply to your life from Nabi Zakaria's life?
Be praying to Allah will grant the prayers of the faithful.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's all. Thank you, Miss Pika. Back to you.
Oke, thank you. Alhamdulillah sudah selesai semua. Judges, silahkan dinilai dengan gimana ya, karena ini pasti udah pilihan ya judges, jadi mudah-mudahan judges nggak pusing ya. Oke, sembari kita menunggu judges menilai, silahkan kembali ke main room sambil melihat lomba yang girls. Sebentar lagi juga selesai, nanti kita di sana ada quiz ya. Oke, silahkan leave room dan kembali ke main room ya. Thank you.
Yang judges apa stay here in this room?
Judges stay here ya.
Judges stay
ya.
here. We will discuss the results. Okay.
Oke, untuk peserta silakan leave room.
Go back to the main room. Para finalis silakan kembali ke main room. Judges.
Judges stay ya.
Oke.
Oke, thank you.
Ini masih ada yang di sini.
Lia Medan tolong pindah.
Ada Arifah itu.
Ada Arifah, ada Lia Medan.
Arifah tolong pindah. Lia Medan tolong pindah.
Ini nggak bisa di-remove gitu ya, Pak? Harus pindah sendiri ya?
Harusnya sih bisa sama hostnya. Hostnya siapa ya?
Sama host aja diiniin di apa? Hostnya yang remove.
Mungkin
bukan remove ya, memindahkan.
Mengembalikan ke main room.
Om Ridwan bisa mindahin nggak, Om?
Saya bukan host, co-host saya.
Host harusnya sih bisa.
Coba Om,
Bentar, saya coba.
di-remove ke main room. Kayaknya lupa di apa? Di end.
Mungkin ini gurunya yang mendampingi kayaknya gitu ya.
Iya, dan lupa ditinggal gitu.
Iya, betul.
Oke, sambil menunggu, mungkin kita selesaikan dulu ya ininya.
Aku ngitung
masukin
dulu ya. Aku ngitung dulu ya, Mbak. Ini
Ya,
langsung
iya ya. Langsung dimasukin ke link aja.
Masukin ke ini aja dulu deh.
Ke link.
langsung ke link aja ya. Oke.
Ya,
Linknya tuh udah ada ininya nggak sih,
Udah ya?
Mbak? Udah ada.
sudah.
Oke.
Sudah ada namanya juga, Ji.
Oke,
Udah
sip.
tinggal klik aja.
Bentar, aku tinggal copy paste ya.
Hmm.
Saya ke main room ya.
And he cried and said, "Oh no, I wish I had met with the fairy and asked for a reward." And the fairy heard his prayer. The fairy said, "I see. You love your family more than gold. Now I will take that wish." Boom! All right, great. Woos! The fairy take away his wish. And the king was so happy. He cried happily and hugged his daughter. Because her daughter turned back before the daughter, actually the daughter was turned to a gold statue. And then she turned back into a lovely old daughter, of course. And the stones and rocks, the golden stones and rocks, turned into the normal stones and rocks. And then he learned a moral lesson. The moral lesson is, you don't need a reward after doing a good deed. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Anissa, that was a very lively performance.
Exactly.
So Anissa, how old are you, Anissa?
I'm 11 years old. I'm about to turn 12 this year.
Oh,
this month.
This month?
Yes, this month.
Anissa, in your opinion, do you think the king's wish was the best wish?
No, because when he tried to touch something, including his daughter, they became gold. So yeah, that's a bad thing. So if the daughter became a gold statue, it can't talk because it's a statue, of course, a gold statue. So yeah.
If you were given a wish, what would it be?
If I can't grant a wish, I wish that my family is happy and everybody in this world will be happy too.
Oh, I see. So world happiness, world peace. Thank you, Anissa. Good job.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ade and also Anissa ya. Okay, for your lively performance today. Okay, and what is it? Ya, seperti tadi bilang juga ya, kita boleh punya wish, tapi wish itu tidak hanya semata-mata untuk kepentingan kita ya, tapi wish itu akan bermanfaat juga buat orang-orang sekitar kita, keluarga dan juga orang lain pada umumnya ya. So just wish a good wish then ya. Okay, Anissa, that's very good and lively performance. Thank you, Anissa. Actually, it comes to the last. Actually, Anissa will be the last, but dear judges, seperti yang kita tadi omongkan, kita akan mengulang performance dari yang Malang ya, dari Lia Malang. Oke, siapa tadi yang namanya Amira Naila? Hello Amira. Halo Amira, are you still here there? Oke, halo sayang. Assalamualaikum Amira.
Waalaikumsalam.
Oke, kayaknya cukup kedengar sekarang suaranya, mudah-mudahan ya. Oke, semangat ya Amira. You can retell your storytelling ya. Oke. Yeah, dear judges, please come Amira Naila from Lia Malang.
Hello guys, today I'm going to tell you a story. The title is The Root Okay, let's start the story. One day in the middle of the forest lived a rabbit called Mr. Rabbit. Mr. Rabbit had many food and water in his basement. That day he was chilling and enjoyed a cup of tea and some cookies. And he saw Mr. Squirrel running to find water. Ah, that's Mr. Squirrel. Water, 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 I need water. But Mr. Rabbit didn't care at all. The squirrel that to Mr. Rabbit's house came to ask Mr. Rabbit if he had water or not. Knock, knock. Excuse me. Have water? I need water. Asked Mr. Squirrel. Mr. Rabbit opened the door. You can find food by yourself, but and there's water in the river. You can find it in the river. Mr. Squirrel then said, I already tried to find them, but there's no water at all. But Mr. Rabbit said, it's your problem, not my problem. Shouted Mr. Rabbit. Now get out of my house. Then Mr. Squirrel walked limply out of Mr. Rabbit's house. At night, there was thunderstorm. There was a storm flashing through Mr. Rabbit's house. It made fire. The fire spread all over Mr. Rabbit's house. Mr. Rabbit had seen the panic shock and shouted, and he shouted for help. Help! 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 I need help! But none of the animals didn't care. Miss Owl that sees that didn't care too. But Mr. Squirrel is running to help Mr. Rabbit. He drank 2 buckets of water. Then he's trying to put out the fire. Yurt! And he shouted for the other animals to help Mr. Rabbit. But no one of the animals didn't care. Miss Owl that sees that said, why do you help Mr. Rabbit? Mr. Rabbit didn't want to help the other animals that were up and that animals that starved. Mr. Squirrel said, we have to help Mr. Rabbit. We have to help each other. Then the other animals helped Mr. Rabbit. Mr. Rabbit said, I'm sorry that I'm always rude and don't want to share food to the other animals that need help and starve. Then the other animals agreed Mr. Rabbit apologized. Then all of the animals left happy and have always helped each other. I hope you enjoyed my story. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Amira. Sorry. Thank you, Amira. That's a very nice story. So, what's the moral of the story, Amira?
We have to help each other. Because in the story, Mr. Rabbit is rude and not want to share food to Mr. Squirrel. But when Mr. Rabbit needs help, Mr. Squirrel helps Mr. Rabbit. So we have to help each other because that people will help us.
Okay, that's very good. So, you like to help each other too, right?
Kinda.
I guess. Okay. I believe you will do good deeds every day, right? Okay, how old are you, Amira? 8 years old. Okay, that's a very good storyteller you are. And I believe in the future, if you practice more and more, you will become better storyteller. Okay? Good luck. Thank you.
Oke, thank you ya Amira. Oke, you are quite patient to wait for the last performance so that you can just repeat your performance. Good ya. Tadi katanya kita harus saling membantu. Tapi kalau temannya misalkan nggak bisa jawab dalam ujian terus nanya sama kalian, kalian bantu nggak? Kalian bantu nggak?
Kalau nggak
Iya.
ketahuan boleh lah dibantu. Salah ya.
Kita saling membantu dalam kebaikan ya. Oke, kalau hal yang jelek ada temennya misalkan mau ngumpetin sesuatu punya temennya terus minta bantu, kalian bantu dong ngumpetin. Itu mah kan
Nah, itu
nggak
nggak boleh tuh.
bagus ya,
Iya,
meskipun membantu
betul.
untuk ngumpetin. Nah, itu kan bukan sesuatu yang bagus ya cara saling membantunya. My partner is back.
We are back.
Save me. Ya, hari ini kita sudah 11 performers ya, 11 storytellers sudah tampil semua dan judges bagaimana akan
Mr. T, is there a breakout room for the deliberation?
Oke, Bu Novi.
Maybe Bu Novi, hello. Oke.
Yes, just a second.
Ada ya. How long, Miss Ade, do you need, for the time?
Time to deliberate?
Yes.
Like probably 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll be
Can't
waiting,
wait.
ya. Because it's going to be so tight kayaknya Miss Pika. Biasa anak-anak ya like you know lah, mereka performnya saya juga pusing gitu. Aduh, ini bagus, itu bagus. Jadinya
Padahal
memang
cuma
ini
harus 3 ya
finalis
carinya ya.
Padahal kan emang ini finalis. Tentunya yang finalis itu yang memang yang udah tersaring yang memang performance itu great
Excuse me,
banget.
just a second, please. Because
Yeah.
I need to close all the rooms first, then make a breakout room for all the juries. So, yeah, I'll be back with that.
Alright then. So kayaknya Miss Pika untuk pengumuman GEA juga akan di main room ya kayaknya.
Iya, jadi 1.
Satu ya, oke. Jadi semuanya akan merrier dong ya. Apakah di sana udah dilakukan kuis-menguis?
Belum dong, kuisnya di main
Belum.
room, Sir.
Di main room dong ya.
Iya
Udah siap dong
dong.
dengan sejuta pertanyaan yang
Iya,
sangat
kalau
tricky
misalkan tadi udah
sekali.
pertanyaan cuma di tempat aku aja loh udah habis.
Udah, jadi semuanya kita punya 3 prizes ya. 3 prizes atau ada 6, jadinya gimana?
3 aja.
Tetap 3 ya. Kayak manggil-manggil istri saya Tri.
Ibu Tri kalau itu ya. Oke, sambil menunggu judges masih ada
Judgesnya
ya.
masih ada di sini. Biarkan mereka berpusing-pusing ria ya untuk menentukan siapa pemenang untuk Gale atau Pasori untuk yang tingkat isi dan juga untuk yang teenagers ya. Gimana di sana tadi Miss Pika?
Sama sih, pusing juga karena emang bagus-bagus banget ceritanya, terus act-nya juga preparation-nya udah bagus. Jadi ada
Iya.
yang siapin itulah, you know, background,
Palitan? Oke,
segala
terus ada yang
macam.
jumpalitan gitu,
Iya,
enggak ya?
nggak
Enggak sampai
jumpalitan sih,
jumpalitan
silat
sih.
kayaknya lebih tepatnya ya.
Tapi kan tadi mungkin pagi tadi kan melihat bagaimana cute-nya anak-anak, kemudian terus Miss Vika mah kan beda tadi.
Iya.
Tapi tetap ada sense of cuteness, kecutannya tetap ada di
Nah,
teenagers.
tetep dong, karena mereka kadang ada yang
Kesannya ya.
memakai apa sih, memakai sebagai pendukung tuh pakai baju-baju yang
Aksesorisnya ya,
gimana gitu ya.
aksesorisnya ya.
Heeh.
Jadi tetap aja mereka, jadi tetap aja kelihatan menggemaskannya sama aja, tapi
Betul.
kegemasannya anak-anak teenagers tentunya ya.
Betul, tetap gemas.
Kalau MC-nya gemesin nggak sih?
Kalau itu dijawabnya sekarang atau nanti aja nih? 3
nanti
menit
aja
lagi?
kalau begitu.
Iya. Setelah
Susah
mendoakan
ya.
Puasa lah
ya.
jawabnya ya.
Agak pusing jawabnya. Soalnya ini masih jadi
Gemesin
partner
enggak
MC gitu. Kalau ntar dijawabnya gimana, takutnya jadi diem. Saya nggak punya partner gitu.
Oh, serba salah jadinya ya.
Iya. Oke.
Oke.
Masih ada jurinya?
Ada
Oh, masih
sepertinya ya.
ada.
Miss Novi-nya lagi masih kutak-katik kayaknya ya Miss Novi. Oke, kutak-katik gitu kan ada lagunya.
Kita sapa dulu nih yang ikut hadir. Ada
Kayaknya ada dari cabang-cabangnya ya.
Iya nih ada Bu Anissa nih kayaknya. Ibu cantik.
Ibu cantik dari
Halo.
Cibubur ya. Ih, ada
Ada
teman
Ibu
saya tuh
Mira
dari
juga,
Harapan
Ibu
Indah.
Peri.
Ada teman saya dari Harapan Indah, ada Bu Artati Sofia. Halo Bu
Oh
Artati.
iya, ada juga ya.
Ya, dia itu penata yang hebat menurut saya ya.